returns logical view name token to front controller. Front controller passes that logical view name to view resolver. View resolver somehow decides the name and location of the physical view component and gives to front controller. Front controller executes the physical view component where presentation logic formats the result and the formatted results goes to dispatcher servlet. Okay, dispatcher servlet sends the formatted results to browser as response. Sends the formatted results to browser as response. Right, boss. We can develop Spring MVC application in multiple ways, guys. In 4 ways. Using XML-driven configuration, using XML plus annotation-driven configuration, best in Spring projects. Best in Spring projects. Using 100% code-driven configuration, using Spring Boot. Best in Spring Boot projects. It is best in Spring Boot project. Right, boss. It is best in Spring Boot projects. Getting my point, guys? Controller or handler class in XML plus annotation driven configuration. Controller and handler class in XML driven configuration. Okay. Yeah, in Spring Boot style, we don't use any XML numbers. Right now, we are learning what, guys? Controller or handler class in XML. The signature of handler method is flexible always. That means we can take our choice, method name, return type, params, and etc. This is the syntax to develop a handler method, boss. Okay, well, by default, get mode now, boss. By default, get mode. If no mode is specified, by default, it is ready to handle which mode request, guys? Get mode request. Check it out, boss. Package name, public class test controller, @controller. Come on. Public string show home page. Public string show home page. Return home. Return home. What is this? Request path. @request mapping request path. / welcome is the request path. Don't worry about those numbers. I will come to this. Okay. So don't you think this method makes normal class as controller class @controller. @request mapping makes normal method as the handler method. Normal method as the handler method. Everyone getting my point there, guys? Come on. Since controller is user-defined class having stereotype annotation, it must be so we must enable. So we must enable. Come on, guys. So we must enable component scanning by using context : component scan. Context : component scan base packages is equal to ... Come on. Array, this is what class? User-defined class. Available in what? User-defined package. Annotated with what? @controller is stereotype annotation. How stereotype annotation based Java classes will be recognized as Spring Bean, guys? Only when we enable component scanning or not. Only when we enable component scanning or not. What do you mean by stereotype annotations, guys? Stereotype annotations. Stereotype annotations are Stereotype annotations are multiple annotations having similar functionalities. Multiple annotations having similar functionality. Multiple annotations having similar functionality. At the rate component. At the rate component, at the rate service, at the rate controller, at the rate repository, at the rate configuration, which makes a Java class as a configuration class. Spring Bean come configuration class. Spring Bean come configuration class. Right, boss? At the rate configuration. At the rate REST controller, which we use in RESTful web services development and etc. Component, service, controller, repository, configuration, REST controller. These are the super guys. Tell me here. No, request mapping is not stereotype annotation. Request mapping is similar. All are there to make Java class as Spring Bean class. Directly or indirect. All these are given. All these are given to make Java class as Spring Bean with additional field, with additional behavior. With additional behavior. Suparna boss. At the rate bean. At the rate bean. No, they are different one. They are even at the rate bean is not stereotype. Because at the rate bean problem, it makes already created object as Spring Bean. But these things will have what? Classes as Spring Bean. These things as what? Classes as Spring Bean. Understanding? So you cannot mix up both, guys. We cannot mix up both. Yes. In this list, you can write controller advice. One more annotation is there. Controller advice, which we generally use in Spring REST program. Controller advice. Super. The ready-made front controller servlet. What is this? Dispatcher servlet. Now I'm revealing one by one. I'm revealing one by one. Are you listening my statement? This is logical view name. Actually, after processing request, after generating result, it returns one or other logical view name. Okay, right now, no logic, nothing was. Directly, I'm just returning logical view name. Okay, signature is definitely flexible signature, guys. No doubt in that. Signature is definitely flexible signature, right? Yes, boss. It's a ready-made front controller servlet in so-and-so jar file. It's a configuration. It's a configuration in web.xml file having /URL pattern is required to trap and take all the requests. It is one per Spring WebMVC application. Already yesterday we discussed this one, boss. Yesterday I have introduced this one. Servlet logical name. servlet logical name. Here also logical name. Here also logical name. Come on. Yeah, this is what? Fully qualified Java class. Java class acting as front controller. Acting as front controller servlet. Nice, boss. This is a load on startup priority value. LOS priority value. Okay, this is URL pattern having ability to trap and track all the requests. Everyone getting my point? Super. So, array, here so many components are there. Handler class, dispatcher servlet, handler mapping, view resolver, physical view component. That is nothing but JSP, guys. I already given sample handler class, ready-made front controller servlet, how it should be configured. Now I want to point what handler mapping component. Shall I introduce handler mapping component, guys? Handler mapping component. This component is one per web application, Spring WebMVC application. This component takes incoming request URI or URL from dispatcher servlet to search for appropriate handler method and a handler class to process the request. Once it is found, it will return that handler class bean ID and handler method signature back to DS. That handler class bean ID and handler method signature back to DS. Back to DS. DS is nothing but dispatcher servlet. Back to DS, nothing but dispatcher servlet. Is that clear, guys? Convinced, my dear guys? Is that clear? Yeah. I think everyone understood what it will do. It will take incoming request. In the request, last word is called request path. Okay. Having that request path, is there any handler method in handler class to process the request? There. Once it founds, guys, that handler class bean ID, handler method signature gives back to dispatcher server. All handler mapping classes are implementation classes of handler mapping interface. What interface, guys? Handler mapping interface. These are the examples, guys. These are the examples. Bean name URL handler mapping, simple URL handler mapping, request mapping, handler mapping, and accept. Bean name URL handler mapping, simple URL handler mapping, request mapping, handler mapping, and etc. We generally use lots of ready-made handler mapping classes by configuring them as Spring Bean in Spring Bean configuration file. Dispatcher-servlet.xml. Okay, listen, guys. There is a fixed pattern in the dispatcher-servlet.xml. Where, what is the location, guys? What is the location? In dispatcher-servlet.xml. What is the location? DS logical name hyphen servlet.xml. DS logical name hyphen servlet.xml. Is that clear, guys? Understanding my statement? DS logical name hyphen servlet.xml. Seriously, this is what? DS logical name -servlet.exe. Yeah, this is request mapping, handler mapping. And let me say one thing, guys. Let me say one thing. In latest versions of Spring Bean, if no handler mapping is configured, the default handler mapping is what? Request mapping, handler mapping. Understanding my statement? In latest versions of Spring MVC applications. Okay. Spring 5.x, guys. Application. If no handler mapping is configured, the default handler mapping is what is that? Request mapping handler mapping. Request mapping handler. I hope everyone understood this statement, guys. Come on. I hope everyone understood this statement, guys. Come on, are you with me? Configure the above class as Spring Bean is optional because that comes as a default handler mapping component in Spring 5.x Spring WebMVC application. Same thing, Babu. Same thing. I have revealed how does each one looks na, boss? It's a Java class having handler method. How does this Java class become handler class or controller class? @controller. How does this normal method becomes a handler method? @request mapping. How to configure this? It's a ready-made class we configure as a Spring Bean by using bean tag. How to configure this? It's a ready-made servlet we configure in web.xml having /URL pattern. Like this, every component I'm revealing now, boss. So now what is left? View resolver is left. What is left, guys? View resolver. It is one per Spring MVC application. In every Spring MVC application, we'll try to take one. Okay, boss. Next, all view resolver classes are the implementation classes of view resolver interface. View resolver interface. Nice, boss. We generally work with lots of predefined view resolver classes by configuring them as Spring Bean in Spring Bean's configuration file. In Spring Bean configuration file. What are those, guys? Internal resource view resolver, URL based view resolver, resource bundle view resolver, and etc. This component gives view object back to dispatcher servlet having physical view component name and location by taking logical view name from dispatcher servlet. According to diagram, it is taking logical view name and returning what? Physical view component name and location in the form of view object. It returns view object having physical view component name and location now, boss. Physical view component name and location. What do you say, guys? Request mapping, handler mapping. It's not request handler mapping, it's a request mapping handler mapping. Okay, now listen carefully, boss. To locate the view components, servlet JSP components of web application, which are placed in private area of the web application inside WebINF and its subfolders. We prefer using Internal resource view resolver. Internal resource view resolver. By giving view component location as the prefix value and extension as the suffix value. View component location, name and location as the prefix value, extension as the suffix value. Concentrate, boss. Dispatcher servlet hyphen this one. In, boss. In means already other entries are there. We are adding these new entries. Yeah, bean class, internal resource view resolver. Bean class, internal resource view resolver. Prefix. I'm telling the location of the view component. Location of the view component. Location of the view component. Super. Next, extension of the view component. Everyone should increase your concentration, guys. Okay. Now listen. Internal resource view resolver uses the following formula to get the physical view component name and location. Super. Listen. If the location plus logical view name plus suffix. Suppose if logical view name is home, boss, then it looks to grant the name and location of the physical view component in what basis, guys? What is the prefix, guys? Prefix plus logical view name plus suffix. What is the prefix? Slash web/inf slash pages. Prefix is right. What is the logical view name? Home. What is the suffix, guys? JS. What is the suffix, guys? JS. Prefix plus logical view name plus suffix. Okay, now listen. Look at our controller class. What is the logical view name it is returning? Home. What is the view resolver I configured? Internal resource view resolver. What is the prefix? Slash web/inf slash pages slash. What is the suffix? .jsp. Now apply the formula. Prefix plus LVN plus suffix. Prefix is location. Home is logical view name. .jsp is suffix. Overall, it has become this one now, boss. Overall become this one as na. Okay. View resolver always returns view object having name and location of the physical view component. Look at this statement. This component gives view object back to dispatcher servlet having the physical view component name and location by taking logical view name of DS. By taking logical view name from DS. DS means dispatcher servlet. By taking logical view name from DS, nothing but dispatcher servlet. Nothing but dispatcher servlet. Is that clear, guys? Is that clear, guys? Come on. Are you with me, guys? Super, boss. Now listen. Yeah. For better security, it's recommended to place JSP in the private area. WebINF and zip folders are WebINF and its subfolders are called private area of the web application, whereas outside area of WebINF folder is called public area of the web application. For better security, we prefer placing JSP files in private area. See, guys, WebINF slash pages slash home. So home.jsp is there inside the WebINF. WebINF and its subfolders. If pages is not fixed, anything you can give. Okay. WebINF is fixed folder name. WebINF is fixed folder. Pages is pages is uh, pages is not fixed folder. Not a fixed folder. Can take any name. Can take any. Okay, boss. I think you got idea how internal resource view resolver works. It takes a logical view name given by dispatch controller class through dispatcher sublet, appends prefix and suffix in both sides, and whatever comes that will become was physical view component. That will become what? Physical view component. Everyone getting my point, guys? Come on. That will become physical view component. Are you understanding my statement? Are free marker, velocity, these are various view technologies. How JSP HTMLs are there as view technology, free marker, velocity also other view technologies. Okay, now what is left? Physical view component. Check it out. According to diagram, everyone is revealed. How to configure front controller, I revealed. How to develop handler class, we revealed. How to configure view resolver, we revealed. How to configure handler mapping, we revealed. Now what is left, guys? Physical view component. Nothing else. Physical view component was. Yeah, listen. We can take any technology component as the view component. HTML file, JSP files, free marker, velocity, JS file, JavaScript files, but we must take them based on the view resolver and its configuration. You can take anything, but appropriate view resolver should be taken. Okay, let us assume I have taken JSP as the view resolver. JSP as the view component, where in the private area. Welcome to Spring MVC. This is my content. This is my content was. This is my content was. So far, with this, I revealed everything now, boss. So let's feel the flow of execution, code-based flow of execution. Right, boss. This is browser. Request from browser. Request from browser. HTTP localhost 2525 MVC pros 1 welcome. Array, this is protocol, host name and port number of the server. Host name and port number of the server where application is deployed. Of the web server. Port number of the web server. All right, next one. MVC pros 1. Yeah, web application name. This is this one. This is a request path, guys. This is project name, guys. Web application name. Web application name. Web application name. This is going to be request path. This is going to be request. Suparna boss, right? Listen carefully. This is a who traps and takes the request, guys. Dispatcher servlet. Why? What is the dispatcher servlet URL pattern? Slash. So it will trap and take the request. C. Handovers the request to handler mapping. Handovers the request to handler mapping. Yeah, handovers the request to handler mapping. C. I'm trying to give code-based flow of execution. Are you with me, my dear? I'm trying to give code-based flow of execution. Are you listening? Diagram representation I'm trying to give through code boss. Yeah. Next, what it will do? Handler mapping will search for right handler method in right handler class. Collects its signature and handler class bean ID and gives to dispatcher servlet. And gives to dispatcher servlet. Are you listening my statement, boss? Super. Have a look on this. Have a look on this. This is a C, guys. D question mark. Go to handler class D question mark. D question mark. How does it will decide? What is the request path in the URL? Welcome. Welcome. What is the URL request path, guys? Welcome. This welcome, that welcome, matching or not matching? Incoming URL request path is welcome. Handler method is also mapped with what? Welcome. Array, are you with me? Welcome. Both are matching. Then what it will do? It will gather this method signature and this controller class bean ID. If no bean ID is given, default bean ID is a test controller or not. Test controller class bean ID, T small letter, and this method signature is gathered and given to dispatcher servlet. E. Dispatcher servlet gets handler class name and handler method signature. Next one, F. Using that signature, it will call handler method na boss. Sorry. After processing request, it is returning logical view name na boss. G. After processing request, after generating results, after keeping results in request scope and etc., it is returning one logical view name G. This logical view name again goes to dispatcher servlet H. This logical view name again goes to dispatcher servlet H. Come on, my dear. Super boss. Next one. It will give this logical view name to view resolver. Right now, what is the view resolver configured? This view resolver. What this view resolver will do, guys? Will prepare a view object. Will generate a view object having physical view component name. What is the logical view name? Home. What is the prefix? /web/nf/pages/. What is the suffix? JSP. What is the suffix? JSP. Understanding my statement? Understanding my statement, guys? Come on. Physical view object has come. J. This view object now goes to whom, guys? Dispatcher servlet K. Now dispatcher servlet communicates with the physical view component. Physical view component L. This will execute Babu. This generated output again comes to dispatcher servlet M. Okay. From dispatcher servlet, output goes to browser and will be displayed on the browser as a web page. N. Array, yesterday I have given diagram based flow. Today same flow I am giving through code na. Today same code flow I am giving through code. I hope you enjoyed. Today whatever I am spending time, this is code based flow, boss. This is code based flow. If someone asks you, can you explain Spring MVC flow? You ask a reverse question. You need diagram flow na, code based flow na. If you ask a diagram, draw the diagram. If you ask code based flow, explain each component and try to tell the flow. But on public demand, on Saturday's weekend demand, one more time the flow of execution. We typed URL in the browser address bar, generated request. A. What is the dispatcher servlet URL pattern, guys? What is the dispatcher servlet URL pattern, guys? Slash. What is dispatcher servlet URL pattern, guys? Slash. Dispatcher servlet URL pattern is slash Babu, not this URL. Okay, boss. Now tell me. So dispatcher servlet traps and takes the request. B. Handovers the request to handler mapping. Handovers the request to handler mapping. C. Handler mapping will search for handler method that is mapped with slash welcome in the handler class. That is mapped with the slash welcome in the handler class. B. That is mapped with the handler method in handler class, guys. B. That is D. Next one, guys. Handler mapping will gather handler class bean ID and handler method signature gives to dispatcher servlet E. Dispatcher servlet calls the handler method F. After processing request, generating result, keeping results in scope, it returns logical view name G. Come on, guys. It simply returns the logical view name na G. Next. Okay. That logic. Right, boss. G. That logical view name goes to dispatcher servlet. H. Dispatcher servlet gives that logical view name to view resolver. I. View resolver appends prefix and suffix to logical view name and returns a view object having physical view name. Returns a view object having physical view name. That is J. Returns view object having physical view name. Are you understanding my statement, guys? That is J. Super. Next, that view object goes to dispatcher servlet. K. Now, dispatcher servlet communicates with the physical view component. Home.jsp executed. L. Whatever generated output again goes to dispatcher servlet. M. Okay, now dispatcher servlet sends generated output to browser. N. And that will be displayed as a web page here. That will be displayed in the web page here. So now look at the diagrammatic flow, guys. Browser has a given request. Who trapped request? Dispatcher servlet. Hand over the request to handler mapping. Handler mapping searches for right handler method of right handler class. Gathers that handler class and handler method details and gives to dispatcher servlet 4 and 5. Calls the handler method. Handler method processes the request, generates the output and keeps the output in the scope and also returns logical view name 7 and 8. That logical view name goes to view resolver. View resolver gives view object having physical view component name and location. Okay, that view object comes to dispatcher servlet. Okay, from there it will collect physical view component name and location, communicates with the physical view component. Physical view component executes to format the results, and formatted results goes to what? Dispatcher servlet. Formatted results goes to whom? Dispatcher servlet. Understanding my statement? Dispatcher servlet. From there, that result goes to browser as response and will be displayed in the browser as web page or not. Now tell me, in the code-based flow also same thing we have reflected. In the code-based flow also same things we have reflected, guys. Now you observe controller class user defined. Dispatcher servlet ready-made, we just need to configure. Handler mapping predefined, just need to configure. View resolver predefined, just need to configure. Physical view component user defined. So out of these many components, how many things we have to develop was? Only 2 things. What are those? Controller class and view component. Remaining all are ready-made component. We just need to know how to configure them or not. In the entire Spring MVC application, the entire Spring MVC application, only view components and controller classes are user defined. Controller classes are user defined classes. User defined component. The remaining all components are predefined components. So we just need to know how to configure. We just need to know how to configure. Yeah, this is the power of the framework now, boss. Almost everything is ready. We have to give final tests. Almost everything is ready. We have to give final tests. Enjoyed my statements, guys. What the clarity was? Super. Class is on Monday. What is if another controller class having same welcome method? Then at controller class level, we have to give additional request. At controller class level, you have to give additional request path. And if two people are having same name in the classroom, what we do? We identify them with surnames. Surnames also same. We identify them with village names. So like this, we have to increase the level of identity. Super. Notes will be there in the Google Class.